Hey everyone, I'm Kelly with the Suburban Soapbox, and today we are making a fresh strawberry pie. This pie is almost no bake. It's made with fresh, juicy strawberries and is perfect for summertime. Let's get started. To begin your strawberry pie, you're obviously going to need some strawberries. You're going to need a lot of strawberries, and you really want to have ripe, beautiful, juicy strawberries. You're also going to need some gelatin, unflavored plain gelatin. I actually love this brand. This is not sponsored. This is just the brand that I use. It's Knox Gelatin. I've been using it for years and years and years. You'll need cornstarch, cream cheese, I'll tell you why, lemon, a pie crust. You can use your own pie crust. I actually have a great pie crust recipe on my website. Pie crust is tricky, always throws me off, so today we're using a store-bought refrigerated pie crust. A little bit of salt, some vanilla, and sugar. That's it. So to start, I'm going to put my refrigerated pie crust in my pie plate. So now I've freed my pie crust from the plastic wrapping. You're just going to carefully unroll it. This has been sitting at room temperature for a little while, so it's going to be very pliable. So we're just going to roll that out, and then we're just going to fit it into the pie plate. And I try to center it the best I can. I'm not a beautiful pie maker. There's pies that you see on Instagram that are very artfully decorated. You're not going to find that in my kitchen at all, ever. I wish I could do that, I just don't have the patience for it. And just to make it look a little bit prettier, you're gonna tuck all of those ends under. You can crimp it if you wanna be fancy. I'm just tucking it so that it's all even. And you're going to blind bake this crust. So this is the only part of the pie that is baked, is the crust. So to prevent it from puffing up in the oven, we're just gonna prick it with the fork to create some holes to let the air escape. You want to get the sides as well. Now I'm just going to put some pie weights in the bottom, but to make it easier to take the pie weights out, I'm going to line this with some foil. And you don't have to use pie weights. I got these on Amazon. They're actually really handy to have. You can use dried beans. Dried beans in the foil will work just as well. And this just, again, keeps your crust from like puffing up and getting bubbly. That's it. We're gonna pop this into a 450-degree oven for about 10 minutes. While your crust is baking, we're going to make the cream cheese layer. And what the cream cheese layer does is actually creates a barrier between the crust and the strawberries. So when you pour the strawberries with the gelatin into the crust, it is still like really wet and kind of moist, so it would make your already crispy baked pie crust kind of become soggy. So we're just gonna use 8 ounces of cream cheese. Just pop that in there. Sprinkle your sugar on top. And my original recipe, I used to use powdered sugar, and I switched to granulated sugar because it actually helps your cream cheese whip up. It breaks it down a little bit faster. It takes some of the work out of trying to work that powdered sugar into your cream cheese. So definitely make the switch to granulated sugar. It's definitely the way to go. And I just started adding a little bit of vanilla. And this is vanilla bean paste. It's like super concentrated vanilla. I really like the flecks that you can see when you use it. So if you're making ice cream or something, you can see the vanilla bean flecks in there. And then we're just gonna beat this until fluffy with a hand mixer. That's it. So you want it to be spreadable. So like the cream cheese that you get at your local deli to spread on your bagel, that's the consistency that you want this to be. It actually tastes very good, just like this. But we're gonna set it aside, and when our crust is done and cooled, we'll spread it on the bottom, and then we'll put our strawberries in. So our pie crust is ready, and you'll see how it is kind of shrunk around the sides. It's totally okay. It'll still taste great, but we're gonna take the pie weights out. You can see like it's all flaky and buttery. It kind of droop down on the sides. That's the benefit of making your own crust. So if your pie plate's too big, you can kind of like cut your crust to fit your plate, as opposed to using the store-bought crust and hoping it fits the plate that you have at home. So that's my only tip. This will still be amazing, I promise. So you want your pie crust to cool completely before you put the cream cheese layer in. If you try to spread the cream cheese layer on there before it cools, it's just gonna like start to smear. It'll kind of lift up the crust a little bit, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of your cream cheese layer. It's not going to help keep the moisture out at all. And now we're going to make our strawberry sauce or strawberry gelatin to put in the pie. The strawberry gelatin is what holds all of your fresh strawberries in place in the pie, and it's actually really tasty. We're going to puree about 6 ounces of strawberries. You want to pick the ugliest strawberries that you have. So the ones that are not so pretty or kind of look like they're underripe, that's what we want to put in here. And 6 ounces of strawberries is not a lot. So these actually all look pretty good. So I'll just pick a few. So to puree your strawberries, you're just going to like take the top off, just cut it off with a knife. Make sure your strawberries are washed. This puree is going to have a lot of seeds in it. If that bothers you, you can strain your strawberry puree through a sieve and it'll take out all the seeds. It doesn't bother me, so we're not doing that. That's it. Now your puree is ready to make the glaze. So to make the glaze, we're going to add the cornstarch to a saucepan. And cornstarch can get kind of lumpy, so you want to make sure that you whisk it really well with the sugar and the salt and the lemon juice. So we're going to add the sugar and a whole packet of gelatin. So a whole packet of gelatin, in case you buy another brand, is about 2 teaspoons of unflavored gelatin. And you'll sprinkle that in, just like that. A little pinch of salt. And then you want to whisk all of the dry ingredients together. Now we're going to cut the lemon in half, and we're just going to squeeze the juice of the lemon into this mixture here. And you want to catch the seeds. You don't want any seeds in your glaze. So just hold your hand over top. I mean, if you get seeds in your glaze and somebody finds a seed, then they can wash the dishes, right? Right? I like that rule. I always have a ton of dishes. And next we're going to add the strawberry puree and pour that in. So once you have everything combined, we're just going to bring it to a boil on the stove top, and you want to boil it for about 1 to 2 minutes until it starts to thicken. So for your strawberry pie filling, we're just going to cut the tops off of your remaining strawberries. And if you have any large strawberries, you want to cut them in half. And this is so that they all fit nicely into the pie shell. If you have tiny strawberries, they're really nice for the top. So you'll see when we pour it into the pie crust, you can arrange them so that your pie looks as pretty as possible. The strawberry pie, unfortunately, is not the most beautiful pie, but it is my favorite. So now we're just going to take the glaze, which is now room temperature. It's really thick and gooey, and we're going to pour all the strawberries into this bowl and toss it to coat. You just want to make sure all of your strawberries are coated with the glaze. It's going to look like there's not enough glaze, but trust me that there is plenty of glaze in here for all of your berries. And make sure that you sweep up from the bottom of the bowl because the glaze kind of sticks to the bottom. So you want to make sure that there's not any big like clumps of glaze still stuck to your bowl. Now that your strawberries are coated, we're going to assemble the pie in the least prettiest pie crust ever. And really, it's not about the crust here. It's really about the filling. So your pie crust is cooled, and we're gonna take the cream cheese layer and just spread it out on the bottom of the crust. And you wanna coat it edge to edge and make sure that it's evenly coated on the bottom of your crust. And this is the part where you can just kind of move it around with your fingers, flip the strawberries over so that the tops of the strawberries are showing and not so much the cut side of the strawberry. And you don't have to worry about the glaze because the glaze will kind of set up in the refrigerator. It's not gonna look clumpy like it is right now. So now you're just gonna pop this in your refrigerator for about 4 hours, or overnight is even better, and it'll even itself out and set up. Now we can eat, finally. The pie does take a while because it needs to set, and there's some steps that take a little longer than others, but it's always, always well worth it. You might have some berries overboard, but you can just plop them right back on top. A little bit of whipped cream. Little. Now we're gonna take a bite. Cannot wait. Make sure you get a little bit of that cream cheese in the bottom. I'm a big bite. That is so, so good. Sweet and refreshing and juicy. It is the perfect way to showcase summer strawberries. If you like this recipe, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. For more easy recipes, visit thesuburbansoapbox.com. Thanks again.